Hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's call. It's Sunday, July 17, and this is our Sidelines Unite call. I'm Tammy Ray, independent consultant and regional vice president with Arvon, and just so excited to be with you. We have a really, really special call tonight. But first, I just wanted to, again, just applaud you all for being part of this Sidelines Unite community, because that's what we are. We're a family, we're a community. This is the culture of Arvon. And I always love the analogy of the sequoia tree, how they're the tallest tree in the world, they live the longest, and yet they have the shallowest root system. And the reason they grow so tall and have that longevity is because their roots intertwine together. And that's what this call is all about. That is the culture of Arvon, is that we reach out to each other and we support each other. Because really, who went to school for network marketing? It's like, this is how we learn. We learn from each other's experiences, and, you know, we can hop on these calls and say, whew, it happened to someone else too. This is normal, right, Leslie? This is normal. It's good to hear everyone's experiences so that we can just know we're part of this family. We're right on track. And I just am so excited because Danielle Paskins is our guest speaker tonight, all the way from Oregon. But again, our business is, you know, makes the world a smaller place. We can connect this way. And Danielle and I had the honor of walking the GTC stage in 2015 as new RVPs, and just got to know each other standing in line, because I told you there's a lot of people to walk the stage, so we stood in line a long time. And she is just a blessing. It's hard to find the words, but Danielle is such a servant-hearted, giving, generous person. I mean, I just tear up every time I think of what one of her days looks like, and just how really none of us have any excuses. If Danielle can do this, any of us can, because she, wow, has a lot going on in her world too. And it's just an honor. I know she just moved, so right when I was moving, so I was waiting till the dust settled a little bit, but I have been so eager to have you on one of our calls, because I know you're going to be a blessing to so many here tonight. So just love you, friend, and thank you so much for being part of this call. I just would love to hear, about you and your family and what your day looks like, and of course how you got started with Arvon and why. All of those questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tammy. It's such an honor to be on your call, and I love that now I know about these calls. I went back and watched a couple of yours on Zoom, so I'm excited to have that resource. We've got so many great resources to connect with each other, and like you said, that's our culture, which is beautiful and amazing. So, thank you. I put a little slideshow together, because when we're on Zoom, I feel like I need a little something visual. So I'm going to pull that up. Maybe. Let's see.
Such a pro.
We'll see here. Okay. Okay, so take a second here. All right. Can we see that? We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I entitled my call with you all today, Get Real, because you'll probably learn this about me as we go, but I am a pretty real, honest, just, I often use the hashtag keep it real. I've found that that's the best way to be in this world, that people are craving real. I think more and more we're living in a society where you're just seeing kind of the good stuff, right? The highlight reel, especially with social media, and people are just craving that realness. So I thought I'd come with 6 questions to get real about your business. And throughout this, I'll mostly be sharing about my own experience, but asking you some good questions too for you to take down and just consider on your own. So I hope this will be really helpful for you. So first, I want to share with you, a little bit about my real, honest Arbonne story, because I think oftentimes when we see, I don't know who all's on the call, and some of you may be brand new and some of you have been around for a while, but oftentimes what we see is, again, we see these people who have achieved these big goals and feel like, wow, you know, that's huge. I don't know if I could ever get there. And it just feels like such a big task. And we look at it and we only see that goal that's been achieved. We don't see all the stuff that that person went through to get there, or what they go through once they're there. So I just want to be really real about my story. So I started my Arbonne business in March of 2003, and you guys, it made 0 cents for me to start this business. At the time, I have 3 boys, and at the time, my youngest was not quite 1, and my middle guy, he's now, so my boys are now 4, 7, and 9, and my middle guy has Down syndrome and autism. So he's 7, and he operates more like maybe 1-year-old. He's completely nonverbal, only drinks smoothies. Thank goodness for our protein boost. And just he is very limited in what he can do. And so I was actually just coming out of the hardest year of my life as he went into his autism regression. So he had a bunch of signs. He had about 40 signs. He now has 1. And so communication is, of course, really limited. But that year that I had just gone through, our whole family had just gone through, including having a baby, our third son. But it included every single day, every afternoon, Nate would scream for 2 or 3 hours like you were poking needles in him. And so I was a puddle at this point. You know, I really didn't have anything left. I had I just completely lost it one day and was like, I can't do this anymore. And I ended up sobbing on the floor, like wailing like an animal. Like you hear about, you know, stories of villages wailing and as they go through mourning. I mean, I felt like that's what I was doing. I was wailing on the floor. My husband had to literally scoop me up, cradle me like a baby until I stopped. Like I was so done and so just at the end of my rope. And you know, that is really when this opportunity came into my life. So just the fact that I even said yes, it was only because I felt a tug. I felt something shifting for me. So my sponsor, MVP Stephanie Warren, new MVP, she just promoted a couple of months ago, she had been dripping on me for 3 years. Because my background is actually in personal training. So she knew that I was interested in health, that I loved helping others, and that I would love the product. So she had given me a sample of a protein shake, and I had stuffed it in my cupboard because at the time I was pregnant with our youngest, and I was a total skeptic. So I just stuffed it in our cupboard. And, you know, a year and a half later, I pulled that out and took a look at it and said, maybe I should talk to her just about the protein. I was thinking maybe I'll just, you know, share it with some of my clients. So she came and shared the business with me, shared the products with me. She was actually completely unprepared for me to ask about how the business works because she just really didn't expect it. That good lesson learned. First of all, she dripped 3 years. Secondly, always be prepared. But I said, well, I'll just share with my clients. This is great. I had a small fitness business. I met with women in a boot camp. I did boot camps for women early in the morning, just 3 mornings a week before my family was even awake. And so I said I would share with them. And she said, well, if you sign up as a consultant, then you could just make a little extra. You might as well. And so I said, okay, but just so you know, I have 0 interest in this business. I don't really get it, but it sounds kind of sketchy. And I just have 0 interest. I'm not going to build a team or anything like that. I just will sell to my friends and my clients. And so she was very understanding. Okay, great. And 5 weeks later, I found myself in the MGM Grand Arena with 16,000 of my closest Arbonne friends. So very quickly. And she just again, just kind of said, I just think it would be really great for you to go and experience the Arbonne culture and see what it's all about. It's totally fine if you don't want to build a team, if you don't want to do this whole thing, but I think GTC would be great for you. So again, she was just very gentle with me. She knew where I was coming from and that I needed her to be that way. And sitting there within the first hour, I was just a mess because, first of all, what Arbonne brought back to me was the ability to dream. And I had really been at a place, I'm sure many of you can relate, where I was just, obviously, I was in a puddle, I was a mess, and I really had lost my ability to dream. I just thought, I'm just trying to make it through each day, keep all 3 kids alive, and continue on the next day. And I was just surviving. I definitely wasn't thriving. So that's what started to come back to life in me. My husband says Arbonne brought my spark back. So I have so much to be grateful for this business, far beyond monetary or anything like that. It's all about what it's brought to me and my family, and just that hope and that dreaming. The power of dreaming is so, so powerful, and most people don't do it anymore. One of our new RVPs in one of my sidelines, Lisa Poole, she said she didn't even know how to dream. When she started her business and we were asking those questions, she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She looked at us like we had 5 heads. So anyway, after being at GTC for an hour, I just recognized that I was completely underestimating the power of this business, and that I was there for a reason, and I was going to be able to help my family and a lot of other families live in a different way. So I came back, I jumped in, I had already promoted to district. I promoted the first month just because of my sales, right? And then I promoted quickly to area, and then to regional vice president in 15 months. And usually this is kind of a point of strain for me when I say that, because a lot of people, they're like, wow, 15 months, what'd you do? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And for me, that 15 months going so quickly brought up so much doubt in me. Like really, it's been 2 years now since I've been an RVP, and I'd say really just in the last, I don't know, a few months, 6 months, maybe, I felt like, okay, I can claim that title. It's okay. And I have my place in this, and I bring something to the table that other different leaders in our organization don't necessarily bring. So, but it has been really, really hard. And I think that, when we see other people promoting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about comparison in a minute, but when we see other people promoting, it's really easy to compare and to think, well, wow, she promoted fast, or I'm not promoting as fast. And so for me to promote so fast, I felt like there were a lot of eyes on me, and I was really uncomfortable with that because I didn't feel like I had earned it. But I think what I've come to learn in the last few months is that we all have, we use the word journey all the time. We all have a different journey. And no matter what it is, it's a gift. So for me, I feel like God knew that I needed this just to almost be handed to me, because I joke that I was like chasing it. I felt like it just took off and I was chasing it. And for me, I felt like I was in that puddle on the floor, and God knew I just needed something that was going to sort of be mine and give me something that was tangible. Raising children, no matter what their needs, sometimes doesn't feel very tangible. You're not getting a ton of praise, or you're not really seeing the fruits of your labor necessarily. And so I feel like my gift was that God was saying, hey, you know what, here. And he also knew that I wasn't at a place where I could dig into the hard stuff about myself to get to a place where I could actually influence and impact other people. So let me unpack that a little bit. Because I went so fast, I stuck with it. If I had not gone so fast, I might not have stuck with it, because I didn't have it in me to do that personal growth that it would have taken to move forward. So now what I've had to do is kind of work backwards. So I promoted, and now I'm working on that really hard, digging deep, getting into that really good personal growth. So all just to say that all of us have different journeys. It's all good. It's all a gift. And just recognize that wherever you are in your journey, you're growing as long as you continue going. So just keep going. So what my doubt in myself came to was a real inability to set goals. It really got to a place where I was just like, I don't want to set any goals because this whole thing freaks me out and I'm not ready for anything more. And so I really got to a place where I wasn't setting goals. I wasn't dreaming any bigger than where I was. And I started feeling that impacting my team, that I wasn't casting that vision that they needed. And I'm really working on that now. So I started digging hard into personal growth this time last year, or about September. I started working with a personal coach, so a life coach, and she has been amazing. We talk a couple times a month, and if you're not someone who can afford to do that, it was something that I decided it was really important, just like paying for counseling or something. For me, I knew that this was really important. And I'm the type of person that I can wiggle just out of just about anything especially because of my life circumstance. A lot of people feel like if I ask a friend, hey, will you hold me accountable to this goal? I really want to work toward it. I really want to change. I really want to grow. Then at first they will, and then I'll have a bad day or a bad week or something, and then I think people feel like they can't relate to my situation, and so then they'll pull back and say, oh, well, it's a really hard day, it's a hard week, it's okay, and they'll justify for me, and so then I'm at the same place. So for me personally, I had to hire somebody to hold me accountable. Hopefully you have someone in your life who can hold you accountable to your goals that you wouldn't need to do that with, but for me, that's where I needed to go. So now I'm super clear on where I'm going. I know who I'm called to be. I've been called to be an encourager and a healer. Those are my words, encourager and healer. And that came out of counseling that I had done about a year prior to starting coaching. But I'm called to be an encourager and a healer, and specifically in families. So I have grown up with a lot of just mess in my family, and now I really feel called to dig in hard to create those relationships in my own family that previous generations haven't had, and really work hard at my marriage and work hard at developing good relationships with my children. And that for me is the really, really hard stuff. So Arbonne had kind of become my happy place. We have a friend, Sarah Prevet, who she calls it, what she call it, her consistent positive. Isn't that what she calls it, I think? Yeah, so Arbonne had kind of become that place for me. So I sort of checked out of family life and ran to Arbonne, and just really put all of myself in Arbonne and got really out of balance. So what I've learned is that my goal is to live a well-balanced life between my Arbonne business and my family. And I know that can be something that's really, really hard sometimes. And I know many of you on the call are mamas and trying to balance it all. And it's hard. And Arbonne can feel like it takes over your life sometimes because it's with you all the time, which is the best gift of it. But it can also be a great challenge because it's hard to just set it aside and shut your brain off from that. So I'm working hard at it. It's super hard. I have to be disciplined about it every single day, about how I interact with my children, about putting my phone down, about just being really present and aware. So what I want to do now is I want to help you all just kind of examine yourselves, examine where you are in your business, examine what might be holding you back in your business. And these are all questions I've had to ask myself. So they're definitely not the only questions. They're just some of the ones that have been helpful for me to process through. So what we're going to do is go through six questions. Okay. So the first one is, am I focused on my own journey? Okay, so it's super easy in this business to get caught up in the pressure to race to the next promotion, But like I said, our journey is our journey for a reason. Okay, so stop looking at other people's journeys. I love this quote at the top: the grass isn't greener on the other side, it's where you water it. So stop looking at other people's grass, water your own, look at your own stuff. Just if you see success happening somewhere else, ask them, talk to them about it. Don't be jealous of it or be comparing yourself to it. Just ask them what's working for them, and get encouragement from that instead of really putting yourself down. This business, it can be hard when you're seeing that around you. We just, in our executive nation or greater nation, we had 4, including Aaron DeVoy here on the call, we had 4 new regional vice presidents promote the same time. What was it, Aaron? End of May? Yeah, end of May. 4 new regional vice presidents and an MVP, all at the end of May. So it was nuts. And can you imagine the people who've been area managers for a while, how that felt for them? And they can make a choice to either compare themselves and feel badly about themselves or be motivated by it. It's always a choice. So this business, we've got to keep that in check, that comparison game. And how often do we really know the full picture of what's going on in someone else's life? You know, we can, with social media, that's mostly how we know about most of the leaders in our company, right? Social media, training calls, things like that. But most people aren't putting forward their true self, all their junk. That's one of the things I love about the Green Bay Leadership Retreat that EMVP Donna Johnson puts on, is that it's just so raw and real, and our leaders, we actually hear their real stuff instead of at GTC. It's kind of more the fun and the hype and all that, which is great too, but I love the raw, real stuff. And our Arbonne journey, we have to really remember this, and this is, like I said, this is something that I've come to learn. Our Arbonne journey started well before we signed the paperwork. I think sometimes some people compare themselves to others when really there might have been all of this prep work before. And like for me, I already had a great network of people because of the stuff I'd been involved in, the stuff I'd been doing, and because this business aligned well with what I was doing already as a personal trainer. So it'd be easy to say, oh, well, she's going so fast, but really I had that network already, whereas some people have to come in and build their network. So it really depends on what we come into this business with. But our journey starts before we sign up. We can't discount all of life that has happened before we start our Arbonne business, no matter how young or old we are. That comes with it. And this business is a relationship business. So much of our life and our life experiences are going to come into play in our business. And please remember, comparison is the thief of joy. It is, always. And the best remedy for comparison is to choose to grow and to count your blessings. Gratefulness. That's always the best route to take. So if you're finding yourself comparing, start thinking of some things that you have to be grateful for. We all have things to be grateful for. I every day I'm grateful. Even on the hardest days, I know I have things to be grateful for. I've got a house. That's enough right there. You know, I mean, so much of the world doesn't. So, okay, so that's number 1. Am I focused on my own journey? Stop looking around. Am I clear on where I'm going? Am I sharing that? Okay, so people want to follow someone who knows where they're going. So if someone says to you, yeah, well, I started this thing and I'm just going to kind of see how it goes. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to give it like 6 months and see. Is that inspiring? Do you want to join that person? Do you want to jump in with them and see if it goes okay? And then if it starts to go well for you, are they still going to be around? Are you going to have that leadership there for you or not? No, people need to know that they're following someone who knows where they're going. And get crystal clear on your why. I can't even see my little, hold on, my quote there. That's really awesome, I'm sure. I have to move this little box guy. Oh, rats. Okay, well, anyway, maybe someone else can see it. Now I'm really going crazy. Okay. I can't move for some reason, I don't know if you can move it, Tammy, but I can't move it away from that, from the quote. Anyway, Are you crystal clear on where you're going and why? We talk a lot about our why, right? And sometimes that why is really hard to get to. And we hear, you know, if your why isn't big enough, you'll run. Like when times get hard, you'll check out. So by drilling down to your real why, that's going to get you focused. So on our team, we did an exercise where we just kept asking why. We paired up with somebody else and we just kept asking why. Well, why do you want that? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? And it's so easy to just go like high level, you know, I want to bring in an income for my family. Well, why? Well, because it'll take some pressure off my husband. Well, why does that matter? Well, because he's really stressed and he has heart issues in his family. Okay, well, why does that matter? Well, because I really want my children to have a strong role model, and I want, you know, like keep going through until you can't ask why anymore. Like until you finally got into that deep, deep, deep nugget that really matters to you. And then another way that I encourage people to kind of dig into their why is ask the question, if you had $1 million, you know, if you won the lottery, whatever it is, then what would you do? And they'll usually come up with kind of the basic ones at first, you know, pay off my mortgage or buy a house for my mom or whatever, but like make them keep going. What else? What else? What else? What else? You know, and just really dig in, because usually that will not include a career. That will include the heart. That will include the things that they're really passionate about and the things that they want to do in life, the things that they want to give to and get involved in that they just can't because of everyday life, of how life is now with their current job. So write it down. We know that writing down our why, our goals, all of that is super, super important. It becomes way more achievable when we write it down, and even more so when we share it. Okay, so we've got to share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with other people. Share it with those other people within Arbonne, but also outside of Arbonne. Find those people that can be your encouragers. And usually if they're those people that are doubters, this is a tip from, again, from Donna Johnson. Okay, if there's someone that's a doubter in your life, and it's usually those people that are closest to us, ask them to be your accountability buddy. Say, hey, you know what? I really have big goals in this business, and the way that you can best help me is not joining my business. It's not buying a bunch of products. The best way you can help me is to encourage me and to hold me accountable. Will you do that for me? And suddenly this person has a mission and some involvement. And then they're like, oh, wait, they want me to be involved. Because usually when people are doubters, it's because they're trying to protect you, or they're trying to protect their time with you, right? They don't want you to be taken away from them by getting involved in something else that will take your time. So I know that has been the case for me. So when I have actually asked them to help me, it makes a big difference. People want to be involved. Okay, so am I clear on where I'm going, and am I sharing that? Next is, am I building trust in myself? Okay, so I really wish I could share these quotes with you all. Let's see, hold on, I'm gonna try. Oh, hey, there, okay. So this quote, I love this. The process of building trust is an interesting one, but it begins with yourself, with what I call self-trust, and with your own credibility, your own trustworthiness. If you think about it, it's hard to establish trust with others if you can't trust yourself. So we often talk about building trust with others, but for me, I know that I kept setting these goals and not reaching them. And so every time I set a goal and didn't reach it, it would erode my trust in myself, right? And so what I needed to do was go back and start building trust in myself. And this is something that I have been working on with my coach. So for me, it's as silly as it sounds, it started with decluttering my house. So I said, I am going to commit to 3 spaces a day, every single day, whether I want to or not. And we talked about developing grit too. This helped me develop some grit. So no matter how I was feeling, I was going to do three piles, 3 drawers, 3 something every single day until the project was done. Okay, so this sounds silly, but it totally made a difference for me, because in the past, I would have committed to that and not followed through. Okay, so now with the accountability of my coach and I had her checking in with me, and I had to check in with her. I continued that, and I kept going. You know what? I'm so thankful when we moved. I was so thankful that I had done that hard work. So you've got to start small. Okay, so if you're not keeping your word, why not? Okay, why aren't you keeping your word to yourself? Usually it's based in fear. Usually it's because you're afraid to fail, and so you choose not to do something or not to keep your word. Sometimes it's just lack of organization, things like that. But again, start small. So in terms of our business, a couple things that to come back to. If you are at a place in your business where you're just like, I don't know, I can't figure out how to get this thing rolling. It's summer, my kids are all over me, it's just crazy. Commit to one thing a day. Start there. One thing that's going to move you toward your goal per day. One thing that's going to move you toward that bigger picture, toward achieving something that means something to you. Okay, so one thing a day. Start with one thing a day. Once you master that, and that might be a week, it might be a month, wherever you feel like, okay, I've got that, I'm good. Then up it, 2 things a day, 3 things a day, whatever you can do, start small. The other area is 40 faces, right? We talk about each month, in order to really grow your business, we need to get in front of 40 new faces. Okay, so, and if your team hasn't been doing that, that's floating around out there. But the basic idea is that we are in a relationship business. We need to get in front of people. So if 40 faces feels daunting to you, you have a choice. Either you check out because you're like, there's no way I'll ever get 40 faces, so forget it, I'm out of here. Or you adjust the goal to meet where you are right now. Okay, so actually, I am in a VP coaching group with Coach Jerry Roisentool, who I love, and he talks about if we set a goal that we don't reach over and over and over again, our brain actually just can't even handle it when we set that goal again. It's like, what are you talking about? There's no way. You did that last month and you didn't hit it. You know, especially when we're going toward a promotion, we've got this huge leap to make. You know, when we're going from area of 10,000 to RVP of 40,000, and we've just been maintaining, and we're like, okay, I'm going for 40,000. Well, it's a gradual process. You know, our team went from 12 to 20 to 27 and then hit 40. You know, it's a process. So if we need to scale back so that our brain can actually believe it to be able to achieve it, that's great. Do it. Adjust that goal so that it's something that your brain can actually chew on. Otherwise, your brain just sort of shuts down. It's like, so same thing with 40 faces. If you're at a place right now where you're barely seeing, 10 faces, then make 10 your goal. Make 20 your goal, whatever it needs to be. Find a goal that's reasonable for you and stick with it no matter what. Again, building trust in yourself. You are going to stick with that goal no matter what. Okay, and then again, the 2,505, that's a basic building block of our business. That's another really good one to build trust in yourself, to build trust that you can do what you say you're going to do. Okay, so, and again, 2,505, if that feels daunting, scale it back a little bit. If it feels achievable, bump it up and go for that district manager bonus, right? So just break things down, build trust in yourself so that then others find you trustworthy, because that is the foundation of our relationships. Trust has to be there. If they know that they can't count on you, then they're not going to come to you, and that's not going to be a very good working relationship. So super important. Okay, the next question is, am I overthinking? Oh my word, do we overthink in this business? We think that someone else is doing it right, someone else is doing it different, someone else has a better closing document, someone else has better cards for their presentation, someone else makes their table prettier. It's just, oh my word, we overthink this business so much. And we know analysis leads to paralysis, right? We will just completely stop in our tracks because we don't know which way to go. We talk all the time on our team about how an overwhelmed mind says no. So that's what we're going to say too if we're just totally overthinking things and getting overwhelmed. Our business is simple. We have to stop complicating it. So our goal is just to get in front of enough people that we can share the Arbonne story and share the products and help others to do the same. Okay, that's it. That's all we're doing. We have to stop complicating it. Overthinking also is usually just another form of procrastination. Guilty right here. Totally. That's what I do. And then I just count it off as procrastination. Oh, I've just always been a procrastinator. So procrastination is based in fear and perfectionism too. Okay, so check that out. What are you afraid of? Dig into that and you'll stop overthinking. Okay, just stop with that. So it's usually based in fear. What are you afraid of? Because if you're overthinking, if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't really know what to say. What should I say when someone asks me? Well, really, you're afraid of rejection, or you're afraid of sounding silly, or you're afraid of someone judging you. It's not really about the words. If you just talk, you can, even if you fumble through it and you're like, you know what, I'm new to this. I don't really know what to say, but here's what got me interested in it. That's it. Just simple. Okay, so am I overthinking? Next is, am I attractive to others? Okay, so my MVP, again, Stephanie Warren, I had come to her and I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm just, trying to figure out how to balance family and this business, and it's just crazy. And she looked at me and she said, overwhelmed is not attractive. And so I have kept that in my, just right at the forefront of my mind, because anytime I start to get overwhelmed, I know that that is not going to be something that is attractive to others, and it's not really helpful for anyone. So so in terms of being attractive, have you cast a vision for others that is different from the world? Okay, so in order to attract people, we need to be different from everybody else. Usually the way that you're different is by your attitude, right? How are you responding to the things that get thrown at you? How are you walking into the room and you're complaining about the traffic, or are you walking into the room and saying, oh, I'm so glad to be here? It's just, how are you casting a vision for others that's different from the world? Are you showing them what's possible? Are you showing them that you're dreaming again? Are you showing them that you're changing? Another thing, are you overscheduled, overtired, or overwhelmed? As none of those are attractive. Ask those around you who you trust for an honest assessment of who you are. I didn't write that clearly. But ask others, who am I showing up as? What do you see? How do you think people view me? And really take that into consideration. Our business allows us the opportunity to become better versions of ourselves. If you're not becoming better, something's off. You're not allowing this business to truly work the way it's supposed to work. And my suspicion is you're probably focused more on the activity than the growth. And the activity is super important, but the growth is just as important, the personal growth. And I honestly really didn't understand that till well into my business. I'd say really the last year, I did not do much personal growth. And it is so, you will not succeed in this business, I promise, if you don't focus on personal growth. You might be able to get to area manager, you might get to RVP, but I doubt you'll stay there, because there's so much head junk, and it brings up all your insecurities that you've had that have built up over your lifetime. And so important just to dig in and work on yourself. So that next one, that last question here, am I growing to where I'm going? Again, this is a Jerry Rosenthal, Coach Jerry, his pastor's wife asks this question. Am I growing to where I'm going? We need to continually be growing so we are ready for the next challenge, next mountaintop, or the next valley, right? Even we need to be growing for those mountaintop experiences, right? We need to be able to lead our teams, or we need to be ready when a lot goes in a different direction than we were hoping for, and ready to bounce back from it. So what are you reading? Okay, I just became a reader. I am like a blooming reader right now. And I finally, I listened to the audio book for The Miracle Morning, which I highly recommend. And there's one for network marketers too. I just did the regular one. But that is great, Miracle Morning. It just really just goes through the importance of setting up your day well. You can do it at a different time in the day, but of having that time to really think and pray and to do affirmations and to read and all that personal growth, good stuff. So what are you reading? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Okay, if you find that you're around a bunch of naysayers, then maybe limit that time a little bit more and make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to pour into you and believe in your dreams and are helping you get there. What are you listening to? We have so many great trainings that we can listen to. SoundCloud is amazing. All the Learn and Burns. What I have is, most of my clothes don't have pockets for some reason. And so what I have is one of those, it's like a barbecue tool belt. It's like a little apron. And I just tie that around my waist and tuck my phone in my pocket and put my earbuds in. And anytime I'm doing chores around the house and doing laundry, any of that. And then of course your University on Wheels too, when you're out and about. But just anytime you have the opportunity, anytime another relationship isn't present, get those earbuds in and listen, because that will make a huge difference. How much are you actually plugging in? Kind of speaking to the choir here, since you're all on the call. Coaching. Are you doing any coaching with anyone? Are you in a coaching group? Or even with your upline? Are you asking for that coaching support? I know Tammy's doing some great coaching with some people on her team. It's just really getting that input into how you're doing and getting some accountability and some direction. Are you asking for feedback? So I went to, it's called the Global Leadership Summit. I went to that last year, and one of the speakers talked about feedback and about receiving feedback, and that the best way to ask for feedback, so this could be from family members, this could be from teammates, is to ask for one thing. So lots of times we say, what can I do better? How am I doing? Very open-ended, it's overwhelming for most people to ask that. If you ask for one thing, you'll get some honest feedback. So you just say, what's one thing I could do better? And that just narrows it down for someone's brain, and they can handle giving you some feedback. Otherwise, they tend to say, oh, you're doing great, because they don't want to just bombard you with a bunch of stuff you can work on. But it's kind of hard for them to narrow it down if you haven't given them that parameter of one thing. So great learning there that I got. So, and our EMVP, Donna Johnson, always says, hot coals together stay hot. So this is a perfect example of that. It's great for us to connect with each other, to learn from each other, to reach out when we're struggling and need some encouragement and need to know how's it working for you, and then stick together and work through those things. So finally, 6-question review. Am I focused on my own journey? Am I clear on where I'm going? Am I building trust in myself? Am I overthinking? Am I attractive to others? Am I growing to where I'm going? So that is, I'm going to stop the share.
Nice.
There we go.
That was amazing, Danielle. Thank you. I took so many notes.
Oh, good.
I really love how you talked about, building trust in yourself, because I remember Cecilia Stoll saying that, it doesn't take confidence, it takes courage to build this business. And I agree, at the beginning, it is all about courage. And then as we build our skills, we gain confidence. But really, I think the root of confidence comes from self-trust. When we do what we say we're going to do. And I love how you talked about scaling back on your goals. I so believe in that. And that, kind of goes into comparison and everything. We think we all need to be like Debbie Neal and promote to MVP in 6 months, which is just like insanity. Oh my goodness. But she, like you said, she had already been studying network marketing. Like, she knew she wanted to get involved with network marketing. She'd been reading books, and it just fell like, the opportunity came because she was already looking for it. So, I mean, you're so right. Our journey begins before we start, before we even become consultants. So, oh my goodness, such good, beefy, meaty information.
Well, and I know for me, and I'm sure others can relate. I know for me, I know what pace I can handle to still keep my family a priority, right? So I know that I'm pretty darn sure if I really truly decided that I am going for it for MVP, which I have set a date for MVP, and that's there. But if I decided that it was sooner than that, and the reason I said my date is November 30th, 2017, because all my kids will be in school. That gives me some time to sort of continue to work on building some strong foundation in my family so that my family is in a solid place where I'm not totally sacrificing my family for the business. It's like, yes, there are times where things are going to be crazy, right? Like I say right a lot, I'm sorry, where we get really out of balance. But we need to have those things in place with our family or with what's important to us that we can come back to it easily. Instead of we go, and then we come back and your family's like, do you even care about us? Or do you just care about that? And so that's what I've had to really, really work on, like pulling back and recognizing it's really important for me to make sure that my family's in a great place and that we decide together when it's time to go nation. So whatever it is for any of you on the call, whatever is really, really important to you. And yes, there are times where our fear can kind of get in the way and say, oh, well, I'm just going to focus on my family because we're actually really afraid of that next goal. So, have people in your life who can check you on that. But just keeping things in perspective and in balance, because if we make it to the top and everyone we love has been just stomped on all the way there, then what good is it, right? This is really, for me, my heart is that when I get to the top, I'm someone that is of great influence. Like I want to be someone who inspires others to be the kind of person that they should be. And then, the titles after that. It's like, the accomplishment is after that. It's all about the person you're becoming throughout this process.
Oh my goodness. Do you guys see why I wanted Danielle on this call so badly? I love, it just rolls into the concept of consistent, not constant, right? That we need to do things consistently, but not constantly. And so that, right, we're not neglecting the people that we're doing this for.
Yes, exactly.
I'd love to open it up. Does anyone have questions or comments? Oh yes, I knew Leslie would. Yes, love you, Leslie.
Thank you. Danielle, I have, if you could sum up your biggest mistake and your greatest accomplishment or your best choice or the best thing that you ever did, if you could sum those up to one each, your biggest mistake and your best decision, your best choice, your best accomplishment, your best processes,
wow.
what would that be?
Okay. Biggest mistake was not taking personal growth seriously.
Amen.
Yeah. So I just thought that was just the fluffy part of this business, that I could do it without it. And I'd gone to years and years of counseling. So I was like, I've grown enough, whatever. And what I'm most proud of, honestly, is the person I'm becoming. I am a I'm much gentler. I'm much more aware of my impact on others. I'm much more, I've been doing a lot of thinking and praying about my influence. I know that my influence has been expanding, and same with my husband. So we both feel like our marriage is our ministry, and like we have great influence. So I think just really recognizing how my words, my actions impact others, and that's within my business, and it's trickled into really important relationships in my life too. So that is absolutely, which is so funny because it's like it has nothing to do with building your Arbonne business supposedly, but it really does.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It's everything, right?
Yeah.
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 How many people do you have direct to you
Um,
as far as managers and above?
yeah, I'm looking at I have direct to me, I have 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
Very good.
basically, everybody's team looks different too. So it's really interesting to see how different teams come together and they evolve and change. When I promoted to RVP, I had and still have one strong leg, and then other kind of dabblers. So the last 6 months, I really focused on my other people that are not in that strong leg. Not that I've ignored them, but they're doing well on their own. They don't need as much of me. So I've been focusing more on the others to try to help them build their teams. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Who else? Does anyone else have a comment or question for Danielle, Tara, or Rita? Tara, do you want to talk about your family? I just know you guys have a lot in common.
Yes, I have a son that has ADHD and he's on the autism spectrum as well.
Okay.
So my hands are full.
Yeah.
So trying to work working Arbonne around him.
Mm-hmm.
And, because he's takes over. He takes over. And
Right.
I don't know sometimes how to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Do you have support? Do you have help?
Like what kind of support and help?
Do you have family in the area that can help? Do you
No.
what kind of, yeah. So for me, one thing that really helped me was I actually had someone from church that volunteered to come help for a while. That was actually during Nate's really bad year. But she continued after that. So that would even give me sometimes all we need is that space just to think. Like, even if it's not totally working on income producing activities, we need to get our brain back to the place where we even can. So that was really helpful to me to have those supports around. And then just, I think in general, moms, whether you have children with special needs or not, it's really easy to kind of use them as our reason to not do what we need to do. And if you can just do whatever you can do, again, that going back to that, building that trust in yourself and just building on a little bit at a time, stick with what you can do. And if it's too hard for you to get out and do group presentations, then focus on the one-on-ones and see if you can do that in some, set aside specific time during the week and find support that you can have to make those things happen. But just a little bit at a time and lead with the business. That's the way that you're going to be able to grow this business. That's what I wish I had learned that sooner too. I think I kind of got caught up in just selling, and I wish I had learned that sooner. That is a much funner way to build this business, is with others rather than just selling. And for those who have more restrictive schedules, having other people working alongside you, if you can train a bunch of people all at once, and you get the support of your upline too to get people going, hopefully, then that helps get your business underway as well. One other thing, Tara, that I've found super helpful is doing more virtual stuff. So reaching out to people that are out of my area that I can't actually go and do a group presentation with. I just signed on my first person in New Zealand, and she's kind of got the same mindset of wanting to grow her business. She knows people all over the world, which is nuts to me. So she's prospecting someone in Poland right now, which is so fun, but really crazy. So think about those people that are out of your area. I think sometimes, it's great to build locally, but sometimes there are phases in our life where we just can't be out of the house as much. And so building, I've got a gal in California that I've been talking with quite a bit. She's building, and you know, it's great that I can just be on the phone with her instead of needing to go and have a meeting with somebody. There is some great flexibility in that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll share with you, Danielle. Tara worked on an amazing Facebook party, you know, as another reach out method. And so it's sort of like the boot camps that we do where you copy and paste, you know, the posts and make it your own. But she created the master Facebook
Great
party for us, so we'll add you to that because Tara's amazing. She's you know, a trailblazer, a pioneer in making it work around her family. So
good.
I'd love to ask too, Danielle, what reach out methods do you tend to use the most, or what works for you? Or do you get like, you know, childcare a certain time every week, you know, so that you can go out and be intentional?
I do have help, so I am at the point where I can do that, and that's been a pretty important piece for me. Most of my business, honestly, is one-on-ones. I just find that to be, I think it's really important for everyone to learn the main reach out methods of their team. So for us, it's 2x2x2, so group presentations, one-on-ones, and sharing the business. But once you learn those, then kind of figuring out what's going to work best for me right now and making sure you just stay consistent with that. So for me, it's been the one-on-ones. It's just connecting with people individually, having play dates. I do a lot of play dates, and just meeting people on the playground and wherever I am. I just try to strike up conversations at the gym, you know, just out and about. So getting out, I think that's another thing. When you've got little ones at home, it's harder to get out. You've just got to make a commitment to getting out and just do it. My littles just came home, so you might meet one here.
I love it. I love it. Does anyone else have a question for Danielle?
I don't have a question, but I was just going to say I get to spend a lot of time with Danielle, and from day one, when we joined Arbonne, I saw her and met her at a Christmas party, and I knew I'm going to hang out with that girl, and I'm going to do whatever I can to be her friend, learn from her, and it's just been really fun. We are great friends now, and we get to do life together, but I still learn from her, and I just think this is really an opportunity for you guys to get to learn from her too. So thank you, Danielle.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you. Erin, I felt the same way. I'm like, ooh, I need to know this girl. Danielle's amazing. I don't know if you all realize that, but
she's already an MVP. I mean,
absolutely. I was thinking that the entire time.
I'm trying to get off.
You guys are awesome.
We are. All of these squares right here. We're the next wave of MVPs, you guys. And I love how Danielle said, you know, that she followed her tug, even though it was so inconvenient for her to be part of Arbonne in that moment. But there's just no other way to describe it. If you feel a tug, if you feel called, if you feel like this Arbonne thing keeps tapping you on the shoulder, you are meant to be here, and the way will be made for you. So just plug in, stay consistent. It doesn't have to be constant. Stay true to yourself. Do what you say you're going to do. Maybe dial back your goals and be okay with that. You know, that we're each on our own journey. And, you know, the best thing we can do is, again, fall back to gratitude and just be an encourager to each other, because we're all worthy of this business, and we are all worthy of reaching our dreams and taking as many people with us as possible. Love you so much. Thank you for being part of this night.
Will I see you in Green Bay?
Yes, I'll be in Green Bay.
Okay,
absolutely.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, who is this?
I like you.
Yeah.
I like you. I don't know. And the Chargers something black, yellow, red, green.
Awesome.
And yellow. And all my colors.
Wow.
These are all the colors. This is Cameron. He's our youngest.
And black too.
Oh, and black too. Okay.
Yeah. All my colors.
Aw. Well, Cameron, we're just so happy to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
How
say
old are
goodnight.
you?
Good night. I have cheated.
I have a toot,
Oh.
he says. All right, everybody, thanks so much. Thanks for being on the call, Tammy.
Absolutely. Love you. Thank you and appreciate you guys.
Okay.
Bye. Bye. Bye.